Welcome to Two Useless Organisms, a silly topical show where two useless organisms discuss today's hot topics, drink each other's philosophy juice, and read the internet's most unbelievable Yelp reviews. On today's show, we will discuss celebrity criminals and waking up from a coma after 10 years. Keep in mind that Two Useless Organisms is not safe for work unless you're a drug dealer or a member of ISIS or something, in which case it's probably pretty appropriate. Tommy, how are you?
Doing pretty good, doing pretty good. Speaking of drug dealers, that first topic is going to be pretty juice, I think.
You know what's funny? That's a little
What's
teaser
funny?
for our Yelp review as well.
Oh,
We got some drugs in it. We got some
uh-oh.
hard narcotics in this episode,
Man, we're
folks.
gonna have so much drugs.
We love drugs. We
Love,
love
love me some drugs.
Molly and Dolly and
And
Bali and
some Benadryl. Let's fucking
Benadryl. I'm a fan
go.
of good old fashioned gorilla glue right
Oh,
here.
gorilla. Oh, bro, hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up. Hold up.
Whoa!
Hold up. Hold
What are
up.
we both doing with this?
Hold up. What are we doing with Gorilla Glue? We crazy.
My goodness.
Yo, we so crazy out here with our Gorilla Glue.
It makes me wonder if there's
That's
like a statistic, like is there always a jar of gorilla glue within arm's reach of most people? Because me and you, just a random two people on the planet right now, both just happen to have gorilla glue.
Or is it just people that do podcasts?
It could be. It is a very common podcasting material, I suppose.
Yeah, you need it to podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so real quick here before we hop in, our previous episode, Thomas, you probably remember we had Thomas on and good old Tom Molding, and we just had a
Good
heck of a time.
old Tommy boy.
He had such a lasting impact on me. I saw him using this really cool podcast microphone arm, and I went straight to the Amazon Jungle website and bought this. 20 bucks. Okay, so our visual listeners
wow.
are going to see that I can move this thing just all over the place. And it's real convenient. Feeling
Yeah.
like Joe Rogan up in here.
And I have to use my hand still,
Yeah. So
like an idiot.
maybe once the dollars start rolling in, Tommy can afford a podcast arm, which I guess is a good time to plug
I got a
that.
podcast arm right here.
You got two high quality podcast arms, but I have three, and one of them I don't need to use muscles or energy for. So, bada bing, bada boom. However, we do want to let our listeners know that you can support the show if you go to our show notes. The episode description of any show, you can click a link to for as little as $3 a month support our show, because we put this out for free and it does cost us $12 a month each. So skip your Starbucks for one fucking morning and help two boys live their dream. Having said that, I suppose we will hop on in to our first topic. My topic this week is a question: who is your favorite celebrity criminal? Tommy, do you have one off the top of your head?
Tim Allen was
Tim
arrested
Allen.
for drug trafficking,
I do like that.
right?
That's a good one, because he's actually I feel has turned it around.
Absolutely.
So that's a good answer. That's not the type of answer I had.
Were you looking for people who are famous for being criminals?
No, I was looking more towards your route, like a
Okay,
celebrity who
good.
happened to have committed a crime at some point in time.
Okay.
Think like that actress from Full House with the college admission scandal and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was funny. But
So
I like that she cried, but you did an illegal, so
yeah, and
jail.
got like a joke of a sentence for it.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Yeah, you're rich. You'll be fine.
Um, but Tim Allen's a good one. He reminds me of Robert Downey Jr., who
Yeah.
also back in the day, um, and he's certainly turned it around. He's basically a real life Tony Stark at this point in time. But speaking of him, I was in my break room, and on the TV was some old 80s or early 90s Robert Downey Jr. movie, and I don't know what it was because this is the last few minutes of it, but it was one of those really cheesy endings where like a character smiles like sincerely and then it freezes and fades to black and the credits start rolling. You know what I'm saying? Like real
Yeah.
happy ending, cheesy type shit.
Okay.
But it was Robert Downey Jr.
Was he a main character in the movie, or was he more of a cameo? Do you know?
I would assume he's the main character if the movie ended
Okay.
on him. I don't know
Okay,
the
the
movie
movie
though.
ended on him. For
Yeah, it was
some
like his
reason,
face.
because for some reason the only movie I could think of is like shit. What was it? Ferris Bueller. I think he had a cameo in.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, that's Charlie Sheen.
No. Oh my God.
But same thing. Charlie Sheen
Robert. Yeah.
fits our thing here. I don't know if Robert Downey Jr. was in that.
Wait, was Charlie Sheen just like drug related, or was he abusing people? I forget.
Um, Something about tigers.
Yeah, I remember the whole Tiger Blood thing from what 2009. I
I
think
don't remember. I can give it I'll give it a Google because I'm kind of intrigued.
you'll give it the goog.
I'll Google it here. Charlie Sheen crimes.
Yeah.
Um,
Another celebrity that I like that went to jail. Bobby Shmurda, the rapper. He had a big hit single in like 2016. I think he went to jail for some sort of illegal weapon possession.
that's not that bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad, but I think he's still in jail or just got out of jail. It's only supposed to be for like 5 to 7 years or something like that. So, you
Well,
know.
let's see. This this says Charlie Sheen was arrested and facing possible criminal domestic violence charges for threatening
Okay.
his wife with a knife.
Okay, yeah, okay. He's off. He's not on my list then.
And then when you Google it, the very first thing that comes up, you know how Google tries to answer your question for you.
Yeah.
It says Sheen was charged with felony menacing as well as third degree assault and criminal mischief, in addition to the drug stuff, which we all know about.
Yeah, if
Um,
it was just mischief, I can tolerate some mischief, but not when
yeah,
you're abusing people. Uh, Matthew McConaughey was arrested for disturbing the peace.
for like, do you know the details? Like, what was he just protesting something, or was he
Let's
actually
see
causing a
here.
ruckus?
All right, all right, all right. We've heard of this all suave Texan story about being arrested while high and playing the bongos naked, but now it's time for McConaughey to tell it himself. This telling of the tale is an excerpt from his own memoir he wrote called Green Lights. It was 1999, and the actor was closing down on a 32-hour party bender and headed home. As his final hurrah of the night, he cozied up in, well, nothing, smoked a bowl of marijuana, and whipped out his bongos, and he began to bang away on the drums, following along to Afro-Cuban beats blaring on the speakers, which he wrote was time for a jam session.
All right. I was cool with everything until the naked part. That's where it gets problematic. But
Yeah, okay, yeah. Especially if there's like children around.
yeah, can't be doing that. But
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
forgive him, I suppose.
yeah.
Um,
It's like I feel like if I saw that, I'd be like, nice, but I could see that making some people uncomfortable. So that's not.
Not the best. So my pick for favorite celebrity criminal,
Mhm.
Joe Exotic.
Joe. Oh my God,
Okay, because he well, I guess you know what? He is only a celebrity because he's a criminal.
pretty
Tiger King would
much.
not have been made if he hadn't done what he had done.
Yeah,
The abusing the animals, mainly. But and the threaten and hiring an assassin to kill Carol
yeah,
Baskin. I suppose that's pretty unethical as well. But
and
no,
also
Joe's
Carol Baskin for murdering her husband.
yeah, yeah. I really, that's what I want to know. I want that next chapter. I want to know what
Yeah,
happened to Howard something. I think was his name, but
I honestly don't remember what his name was.
Howard,
I'm just here for the meme.
pretty sure it's Howard. But anyway, yeah. So Joe Exotic, because he is such an outrageous person who like does not think he did a single thing wrong, is still sitting behind bars right now trying to prove his freedom, try to get justice. Justice
Yeah.
needs to be served.
Remember when he actually rented a limo because he thought Trump would pardon him?
Yes. And
It
I
was li
also thought Trump would pardon him.
I feel like I should have had a thought that he might do that, but in my head, I just had this feeling because of how stupid Joe Exotic was being and how presumptuous he was being, this wasn't gonna happen. And it
I don't
didn't.
know, man. It was like, well, it's Donald Trump. If it was anybody else, like, there's no way they would pardon him. But Donald Trump
Yeah,
loves to do shit.
yeah, you're
Um,
right. He does do wacky shenanigans, so
But
Yeah.
Joe Exotic, crimes aside, what a personality. He's a
Yeah.
very likable person. I will give him that. Like, other than the crime, like, you have to give him credit.
Yeah.
He's charming as hell. He won a lot of people over. Maybe
Yeah.
manipulative is the correct word, but
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, it's definitely the right word, but I know what you're getting at because like watching the show, it kind of paints him as the protagonist, despite him being a horrible animal abuser, assassin hire.
um, yeah, I've actually watched Tiger King twice through
Oh
because
my
it
God.
was so entertaining. I was like, I gotta watch this again. Um, and I started watching the other spin-off, the Doc Antle story. I didn't get very far into that, even though I would like to. Doc Antle was, I believe, from one of the Carolinas, and he was the one who always
Oh
was
well.
riding an elephant around and had like a army of mistresses and had like 3 wives and all this stuff. Um, but then what is it? Joel McHale hosted.
Yeah, I saw that one.
That was good.
I was just about to say, like, didn't they do like a ninth episode over Zoom? And I was like, oh my, Joe McHale, yeah.
Yep. He did that, and then gosh, remember that character Eric? I believe his name was Eric Cowie. He was out of prison. He was always smoking a cigarette, sunglasses on, long blonde hair. He ended up dying within a
Oh
year or
shit.
two later.
Oh
I
fuck.
believe he overdosed.
Oh
But
shit.
let me give that a
Yeah.
goog. But and then did you watch Joe versus Carol on, I believe it was Peacock?
I did not. I think
Uh
I think after the year 2020, I didn't engage in any Tiger King content.
it was
I
a
wa
very 2020 thing.
Yeah, no, I watched the series in March 2020 when it came out, as we did in 2020 when we were locked up, and then the Zoom episode when it came out, especially because Joel McHale hosted it. I'm a big fan of the show Community, so love Joel. Um, but yeah, no, I usually forget that Tiger King exists until someone brings him up.
So Eric Cowie died of acute and chronic alcohol use.
Oh damn.
So guess I could have seen that one coming. But and
Mm.
then to close out my Tiger King rant, well, first of all, Joe and Carol, very good. The guy who plays Joe Exotic did a really good job of trying to he had to come across as likable for that role. It didn't paint Joe Exotic as a good person, like that wasn't the point, but it was a lot of the show took place in a very specific time of Joe Exotic's life when he was facing all the trauma that caused him to become as weird as he was. Um,
Uh,
so the actor who played him, let me see who that was. Joe Exotic actor did a very good job. And then Carol Baskin was played by that girl from SNL, who I forgot the name of. But
you know,
huh?
we're talking about actors playing criminals. Did you ever see Dahmer?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was well done series.
loved it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So this was John Cameron Mitchell as Joe Exotic, and fucking what's her name? I just had it. Oh, Kate McKinnon from SNL played Carol Baskin. It was good. Recommend it. And then yeah, Dahmer was fantastic. I love
Yeah.
Dahmer.
Yeah. Yeah,
Really
Evan
great show.
Peters crushed it.
He sure did. And so yeah, Joe Exotic for all those fun reasons. Now to close out my topic on Joe Exotic, uh, back in June or July of 2020, Tiger King had just blown up. I like to collect autographs. You know that. Our listeners know that. I was like, I wonder if I can write Joe Exotic a letter in prison, and I wonder if I'd get anything back. So I found his address. Turns out he's got a friend running a Facebook page for him, and that friend, uh, whoever it is, was sharing his address. You know, the address you could write to him, which has changed a bunch of times because he's changed prisons a bunch of times. He's been in medical facilities. Apparently, he has cancer. All this stuff. But
Oh shit.
so I wrote him a letter, and it only took a few weeks. So in, I believe, July, maybe early August of 2020, I got a letter from Joe Exotic in the mail, handwritten. I don't have it on me, but it says something along the lines of "Thanks for your support. please tweet Donald Trump for me to get me free, and you know, justice needs to be served and all that sort of thing. And I
Oh
will
man.
admit that the letter I wrote him, I hammed up. I was like, oh, I'm a really big fan of yours. I just, we need to get your, because I wanted a response.
Yeah.
So I knew I'd have to stroke his ego. And after watching the show, you know exactly how to stroke his ego. He's just like so full of himself. If you compliment him and praise him in any way, he'll just go right along with it. And so I'm honored to be one of the people that got to interact with Joe Exotic in that way. And I have a nice handwritten letter from him.
Good for you, man.
So it's one of my favorite autographs. It's not one of my most impressive, but it's got such a good story.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, that's mine. Do you have anything else to add with the celebrity criminals?
Honestly, not really. Um, you know, I'm a wrestling fan, and I'm pretty sure there's been a bunch of them who've gotten DUIs and shit, but you know, ain't trying to glorify anyone that's did anything more than drugs.
Drugs are bad, Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So is sexual abuse, but they want to name those people. But anyways, before we get into our next topic, the sponsor of today's show is Gorilla Glue. You guessed it right. If you gotta glue some stuff, some things that are really broken apart that you need to be permanently put back together, Gorilla Glue.
this show is not actually affiliated with Gorilla Glue in any way. Yeah. So
All right, so our next topic. If you woke up tomorrow and it turns out that you're in a coma for 10 years, what do you do? You wake up tomorrow, it's March 7th, 2020. No, wait, 2033. Cristiano Ronaldo.
you said I woke up tomorrow. Tomorrow's not that day. Tomorrow's not 2033.
Well, the next, I mean, the next,
So I,
you fall asleep, and the next day that you wake up is 10 years from now.
that makes a big difference because if I woke up tomorrow from a 10-year coma, the last thing I would have known was March of 2013.
Yes.
Which I was in high school, so I would probably have to go back to high school. But
Oh, dude, that would suck. Yeah, no, because 10 years ago today, I was, a couple months from graduating high school.
Oh yeah, you're a year older than me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so weird that this is 10-year anniversary of me graduating high school. That's a kind of a weird thought, but also I feel very disassociated from who I was back then, which is probably a very, very good thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I will confirm that. It's something that you don't realize when you're in high school that like you are going to change so much leaving high school, but like everybody does. And all the people that I've talked to like since high school that I maybe haven't seen since high school, like maybe I've seen them once since then, they're a completely different person. You do fundamentally change almost your entire being in
Yeah.
adulthood. So it's an interesting part of life. But okay, so you want me to spit some of my things out here, Tommy?
Spit your things.
I'll spit. So I would ask, is cancel? I have a few questions. I would ask, is cancel culture over yet? Because I'm sick of that shit. That's got to change. Not saying everybody who gets quote unquote canceled is innocent in every single way, but it's not. I don't like it. I hate it. I would ask, is COVID gone? I have a feeling it's not going to be. I would ask, is the Great Movie Ride back? Probably not. I would ask, is Bill Cosby still alive? And if so, is he still slaying ladies? He probably will be. I would ask, have the Bills won the Super Bowl yet? We'll see. And then the first thing I would actually do was I would listen to my favorite band, Skeleton Witch.
What a journey.
Yeah. This meeting is adjourned. But that's what I would do. And then I would obviously, well, Yeah, that's what I would do. I would listen to Skeleton Witch, maybe see where the Marvel Cinematic Universe is.
Oh my God. Especially with the rate they're pumping out content these days, like
Mhm.
they may have finished an entire saga or two by that point.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. By the way, I haven't seen Ant-Man yet, so no spoilers.
All right, I won't say anything in the chat then.
Yeah,
Um, so when thinking about this question, we already talked about where we were 10 years ago, and I feel like 10 years ago I could not even imagine that I would be where I am now. So just thinking about where I'm going to be 10 years from now is a bit of a mind fuck. So if I were to wake up and it turns out I was in a 10-year coma, I would probably be hit with a bunch of anxiety because it's like, okay, I'm assuming I don't have a girlfriend anymore.
she's moved
Because
on.
yeah, I would have hoped that she would have moved on, um, respectfully. Kind of, I'm like drawing blanks right now, but like I feel like that's probably what I would be when I would wake up in 10 years. Like, what the
You
fuck?
just say Bill Cosby if you
Yeah,
haven't thought of
I'm
anything.
like, who's the president?
Bill
Um,
Cosby.
did fascism take over the United States yet? Yeah, are we who's the president right now?
Yeah.
I don't know why that's a question that's like in my head. Who's currently the president?
Ronald DeSantis.
Who is did Disney open up another theme park yet? How's Epic
That's a good
Universe
question.
how's Epic Universe doing? What did happen to Dino Land? Or probably by then Disney might be tearing like they'd probably still be building whatever they're building with their current rate of things. Um, I feel like most of my thoughts would be theme park related.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
what what are some roller coasters that? Because I'm trying to think of like the last 10 years of theme park progress. What have we got? We got Pandora, Galaxy's Edge, pretty sure Fury 325, Steel Vengeance, Velocicoaster, Hagrid's, Cosmic Rewind. So much big theme park shit. But also, has there been another pandemic? You're like, do we still have COVID? What do we have now?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
that H5N1 thing. Did that explode?
I thought it was H1N1. Are we on
Oh no,
H5N1 already?
yeah, no. H1N1 was, back in
Yeah.
2009-ish, I want to say. H5N1, I don't think has transferred human to human yet, but there was I think a 13-year-old Cambodian girl that died 6 days after contracting it.
Mm.
So humans have caught it, but I don't think it's gone from human to human yet.
Okay. Let's get controversial, Tommy.
Okay.
Um, what are your thoughts on this whole COVID lab leak thing now that it's really blowing up? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I haven't really had a lot of strong thoughts about it.
Yeah.
That's honestly kind of how I feel about that. I don't like unless they actually prove anything, I'm not gonna assume it was one thing.
That's all right. I'll just put myself out there.
Yeah.
And so people can hate me. I
Okay.
haven't formed a full opinion on it yet, so I will
Yeah.
start with that. However, I am now more enthusiastic about it than ever. And I hate to be that guy who says he learns everything from the Joe Rogan podcast, but he did have someone on there who was quite convincing with some of the evidence that may lead to the lab leak theory. Now, um, I read the Wikipedia page for the lab leak theory the other day. Also, not reliable. Wouldn't recommend that if you're looking for actual base of knowledge. But I love Wikipedia, and that's where I get all my knowledge, and I pretend it's all true. So I believe the Wikipedia entry was very slanted against the lab leak theory. It was really worded like there is no evidence at all to support blah blah blah. But then it wouldn't give any evidence like to a lot of the other points that it was trying to make. It would just state something. So I've been looking into it a lot more recently, and it just seems odd that two of the 18, which is a vast minority, two of the 18 intelligence agencies of the United States do believe with low confidence that COVID was leaked from a lab unintentionally. Four of these agencies are undecided and a majority of the agencies have said that they do not believe. Now, my point here is, why is there still so much gray area 3 years later, 3.5 years later, really, amongst the United States intelligence agencies about this? Like, we're not on the same page yet. We're just now starting to actually move somewhere with our opinion on it. I think it's very odd that we're starting to move in a direction of accepting that it might have been a lab leak. Whereas prior to the last few weeks, it's only been a conspiracy theory.
Honestly, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm. I'm not sure either, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying we seem to be moving in a direction right now, in terms of what evidence we are gathering and what some of our intelligence agencies are concluding. Even with low confidence, they still concluded that
That
they
it
do believe it was a lab leak.
that it could be. Yeah,
So,
because yeah, unless one thing is proven, I don't really have a strong opinion about any of it.
oh, that's right,
We'll
Tommy. I forgot your opinion is that COVID's not even real. I'm sorry, I forgot.
correct, exactly. Yeah, it's a woke hoax.
Wokes.
Yeah, wokes. But speaking of things leaking from China, this
Oh.
also might be a hot take. I think the Chinese spy balloon is funny. Just just the phrase Chinese spy balloon just doesn't even sound real, so I couldn't even take the story seriously.
Yeah. I've been getting surprisingly more anti-China lately. Not racist against Chinese people, just their regime that they have going on there.
Oh yeah, no, their government, I would be afraid to go over there.
It's just horrible. I mean, I listened to the
Yeah,
the Tiananmen Square massacre where
yeah,
there's a famous picture of just a regular civilian
yeah,
standing in front of a tank. All right,
yeah.
so I listened to a podcast about that massacre, like a 3 hour podcast, learned all about it. Holy Lord, the government then and still now is covering that shit up so
Oh
hard.
yeah.
And China has like a lot of filters with their internet, so like certain things get filtered before their citizens can even read about it on the internet. So you can't even research or talk about that incident in China. You will get arrested if you bring it up. They
Oh
will
wow.
actually come to your house and take you away if you're
Oh
caught
shit.
talking about it. Now, given I just heard that from a podcast,
Yeah,
but I do believe that's actually true. So yeah, China, the spy balloon thing, not surprised.
yeah. I've also heard, speaking of that, that even because TikTok was made by a Chinese company, that if you post something on TikTok about that incident, it'll get deleted.
Yep. Yep. I believe it. Motherfucker. But anyway, China. Decent food. At least
Yeah.
the American version of it.
American version of Chinese food fucking slaps.
um, I've been to the Chinese theater in Hollywood, California. Not Chinese in any capacity, but they call it that. Um, that's cool.
You know, there was a Chinese food near my apartment. It used to be there. It was called China One. Had
Mm.
very good, just cheap Chinese food. You walk in, there's a child either at the
Oh, don't say
register.
walk. So I think it's time for our Yelp review.
What was my topic again?
Your topic way back then was waking up from a coma 10 years in the fucking future or tomorrow. I don't remember what the hell it was, but
It would be, if I woke up, I would panic, uh, see where everyone I love is. Hopefully they remember me, and ask a bunch of questions.
I would ask how many people left a rating and review on our Please Remain Seated and Two Useless Organisms podcast. That's what I would ask. But
We'd
anywho,
probably blow up by then.
Yeah, maybe it will. I'm still waiting for us to blow up. I think it'll happen. Yeah, holding out hope. But all right, so we got a Yelp review here.
Yelp review. Yelp review. Yeah!
Yelp review for 8 Ball Bucks Bakery.
8 Ball Bucks.
8 Ball Bucks Bakery out of Baxley, Georgia. Now, for any of our hardcore listener fans, Baxley, Georgia has come up in a previous Yelp review, and we will touch on that momentarily. Earlier this year, I visited 8 Ball Bucks Bakery to pick up a birthday cake for my son. On my way into the store, I had to step around the body of a morbidly obese man laying unconscious in the street just to get to the front door. After smelling a new strain of mold emanating from the specimen on the ground, I nearly turned around and went home because the thought of seeing a room full of cake and donuts after breathing in what can only be described as rotting armpit wax made me sick to my stomach. I let my breakfast settle back down and made my way into the store, only to see many bare displays behind the glass. I told them I was just there to get a generic birthday cake, but the employees said that they just sold all their cakes to the man on the ground outside, and they had to load them into his van. They gestured at the front window, and I looked across the street where a van was parked crooked across 2 parking spots. The van had several of the same bumper stickers stuck all around the back door, which read, "I'm not fat, I'm just hauling around a large amount of diarrhea in my body." I stood there staring out the window for several moments before bringing my attention back inside the store, when a tattooed gentleman who could have been the offspring of Kid Rock and Taylor Swift came out from the back and apologized for being out of cake. He said they started baking more as soon as the portly man bought out their entire supply. I told him it's no problem and I can come back later in the day or tomorrow if necessary. Overall, it was actually a very pleasant experience. Everyone at the bakery was super nice. At this time, I looked back outside and saw 2 police officers attempting to wake up the big man, trying everything from clapping in his face to spraying pepper spray lightly under his nostrils. One of the cops said something and gestured inside the bakery. He must have suggested giving up for now and getting some donuts from inside, considering the man then bolted up, watering at the mouth and frantically looking inside the windows of the bakery. The police then helped him roll over and sit on the curb while asking him a few questions. All I could see was the neck rolls of this guy while he repeatedly gestured to the bakery behind him. After a few moments, one cop patted him on the back, and the police officers then helped him get to his feet, where he then made his way across the street one waddle at a time until he could get back into his van. I'll just say that the left side of his van was way closer to the street than the right side was as he drove away. I'm surprised there weren't sparks shooting out from his bumper grinding on the pavement. The 2 cops entered the store laughing about what had just happened and nicely asked for 2 donuts each. They stood off to the side of the store enjoying their treats when one of them made a joke about the donuts being as good as crack. I glanced over at the tattoo gentleman, who I now knew was the owner of the bakery from his conversation with the cops. The owner started nervously laughing and clenching his jaw, and before long he was sweating profusely while trying to appear to help with the cakes baking. The police noticed his nervous behavior and started observing him more intently, which ultimately ended with the owner letting out a nervous fart. One police officer went over to him and started sniffing profusely without breaking eye contact, which made the owner exponentially more nervous. After a few intense sniffs, the cop whipped the owner around and forced him to the ground, shouting, "Cuff him, Jenkins! This guy's got meth in his farts." The other cop cuffed the owner, while the fart sniffer violently pulled the man's pants down and started performing the most colorful cavity search I could imagine, and without gloves. After a few moments of digging around, the cop pulled
You
out a small
can
bag.
smell meth and farts?
How would you know, Tommy?
No, I was asking because I wouldn't know.
Exactly.
That,
So why are
this
you
is new.
criticizing me? Of course you can.
I'm not. I
Where do druggies keep their drugs, Tommy?
in their mouth. I don't
No,
know.
they put it in their anal cavity.
to sneak.
Anybody who knows anything about anything knows that your fart comes out of your butthole, and anything that's in your butthole comes out of your butthole with the fart smell. If you don't believe me, next time you're naked, spread your butt cheeks really far open and then fart, and it's going to smell way worse than when your butt cheeks filter out some of the bad smell. Should I continue with my Yelp review? All right. After a few moments of digging around, the cop put out a
Yes.
small baggie of white powder. I fucking knew it, Buck. We've been trying to bring your ass in for months. I just looked at the other employees with a "I'm getting the hell out of here" look, and they nodded back, and then I left. A week later, I find myself at home typing up this review, and I'll be damned if the fat guy from outside didn't just come on my TV telling me about his mobility scooter company. Anyway, 8 Ball Bucks Bakery has since been closed down permanently, so I would highly recommend Nancy's Cakes and Things on the other side of town for all your bakery needs.
Was there meth in the bakery goods?
The bakery goods themselves, I believe, were meth free. And the cops were eating the donuts. They didn't taste the meth. They just smelled the meth.
And how would they know what it smells like?
Oh, I think cops have to know that sort of thing. You know how cops can, if they find Coke, they can put a little on their finger and taste it and be like, oh yeah, that's Coke right there. So maybe I would assume they're trained to smell meth and asses.
Valid point.
See,
I'm not a cop, so I wouldn't know these things.
No, you are not. No, you are not. But anyway,
I think I would be a very bad cop.
And I'd be a good cop. Good cop, bad cop.
Ah,
the podcast.
Good. So, and you're talking about that you would be good at being a cop and I would be bad at being a cop, not that you would be the good cop that they would want to see versus I'm the bad cop.
Yes.
I think I could be the other. I think I could be the latter as well.
You want to be a ladder?
Yeah.
It's fucking dumb.
Ladders are very useful, Tristan. They can help you get to places you normally wouldn't get.
Ladders are bad luck when you stand underneath them.
Yeah, if you're a coward.
If you were a ladder, I'd be under you. Just don't fart meth on me. All right, Tommy, talk us out.
All right, thank you guys for joining us for this episode of Two Useless Organisms. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, rate 5 stars, and tell your friends. If you have any topic ideas, let us know. No.
All right, Olaf.
Tristan.
Say goodbye to the podcast, people, Olaf.
And Tommy.
Okay, bye. Oh my God, he's knocking everything over.
Two useless organisms. Two useless organisms.